Okay. So I'm coming back to you, Katie. Let's talk a little bit now about how do we make this simple and how do we get there, right? So we spent a lot of time on all the reasons that people don't get there, and I know that people are probably thinking, "Man, you guys are trying to motivate me, and you're doing a bad job here." So let's go in on the positive direction here, and what's the simplest and easiest thing that we got to do?
To try to keep it as simple as possible, you must spend less than you earn and invest the difference. Then reinvest your returns for compounded growth until you reach a critical mass of investment capital that creates the annual income you desire for life.
Okay, so I'm going to back you up a little bit, of course, and try and understand this a little bit more. So spend less than you earn and invest the difference. That's pretty simple, right? I got my budget. I got more money left over. I'm going to invest that money. But let's talk about this compounding growth a little bit. I've seen a couple examples that are interesting in relation to this, and there's one that said and tries to illustrate the point of compounding growth, right? Which is, hey, I can give you two options, Katie. I'm going to hire you to work for me for a month, and I can pay you $10,000, or I'll pay you a penny the first day, and I'll double what I'm paying you every day for 30 days. Which of those two would you choose?
Always take the penny. It's a trick question.
It is a trick question. And do you remember how much you're making in like day 30 in that scenario?
I do not remember.
Well, I believe it's over $1 million, right? And so you're starting out with a penny, and what you see in that graph is it goes like this for probably 20 days, and then the last 10 days it goes like this, right? And compounding growth works like that, right? And so what we always say to people is, this is a marathon to get there, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 50-year marathon. But it's every bit of a 15-year marathon, right? 15 to 20 years, you're going to get some super compounding growth and really hit your goals by doing that. So everybody that's ever really attained real financial freedom has done it through this kind of concept of compounding interest. We talked about it on an earlier call, this idea that there's the reverse of that. Do you ever figure out how long it takes you to pay off your credit card if you make your minimum payment? Bill, how long does that you think that takes?
I haven't. I think it's like 27 and a half years or something like that.
Yeah, so you could have a $3,000 credit card with a $50 payment on it, and you're thinking, oh, well, I'll pay this thing off. I'm paying $50 on it. A couple of years, I'll have this thing paid off. But because you're not paying off all the interest that's accruing on it, or barely enough to pay the interest that's accruing on it, it essentially takes you 30 years to pay off a $2,800 credit card, right? That's the reverse of compounding interest. It's the bank making compounding interest on you. So if you can't believe that you can get it, just reverse the thought process to say, man, do I feel like I'm paying that? Because if I do, then I realize that it's possible. Now I just got to make it work for me, right?
Right.
Okay. So what else would we like to talk about as we kind of try and take people down this journey? Is there something else, Katie, that we should talk about here before we finish up?
I just want to share a simple suggested habit that has particularly worked for me to start saving money, and that is to just create a separate bank account dedicated to wealth building only. And on every payday, transfer X% into that account. It can be any amount you decide, whether it's small or large.
So talk to me a little bit about that. That's the concept of pay yourself first, right? And really start to force yourself to save some money. And you implemented that yourself?
Yes, I did.
And was it hard? Was it easy? How do you feel like you're not able to do as much as you could do before, or what do you feel like?
No, I find it pretty easy and hold myself accountable. I just have a reminder on my calendar for every 2 weeks, set up the same day as paydays, and I make sure first thing on that Friday morning, I just go in and I take the percentage that I decided on, And for me, it's small right now, but I've already noticed significant growth in that account, and I'm excited to invest it in the next Hal deal.
There you go. And let me ask you this. How do you feel that day when you transfer that money over?
Honestly, it's kind of just a habit for me, but it is exciting, if anything, to see the steady growth in there.
And so you're looking at it and saying, man, this is so simple. I get a sense of accomplishment every time I do it. And then when that statement comes in and I see it growing, I get an even greater sense of accomplishment. So like this just little simple thing that I learned has made a significant difference in a short period of time. Is that fair to say?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys kind of walking us through the first kind of foundational steps of how to kind of work towards financial freedom, which is kind of build that triangle out of hey, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to have a good purpose in life, I'm going to have great relationships, I'm going to really set up a financial system that I can hold myself accountable to, and that's going to allow me to give back. And I have this kind of targeted goal on how to get there. I'm kind of feeling a good belief towards it. I got my vision board that's kind of driving me towards it, and I'm learning to use compounding interest and leverage and motivation and good coaching to get there, right? That's where we're at this point.
That sums it up.
Bill,
Yeah.
any parting thoughts for people as kind of they're getting off this call and they've been through, hopefully they've stopped the video, they've circled their things, anything, based on your years of experience that you'd just like to say to people before we go?
No pressure there, but it takes me back to the one thing that I've always thought about. It's a variation of the Henry Ford quote where he says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. In this case, if I believe I can or I believe I can, I'm right. I believe I can get there. I'm going to get there.
Awesome. Katie, any other final thoughts?
No, I think Bill said it perfectly. I was waiting for that quote.
Well, there's one other thing we have to say, Katie. We would never buy part of the Green Bay Packers because we're Eagles fans, right? Never, never, never.
This is true.
So
You got to
there
work
you go.
more on those abs. The other party thought is you got to work a little bit more on those abs.
Oh, you know what? It's funny. I was close the other day. I almost went and said, "We got to take a picture today," because I think this is the one day. I believe I will accomplish that goal for one day and then go eat 3 cheeseburgers. But that's okay. It's on the list, so we're gonna get it.
You get there. It's all
All
about.
right. All right, guys. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking this time and working through this with us. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.